I'm Ashley Dvorkin, and this is Fox 411 Throwback Thursday. Our guest today grew up at a very famous address, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. It's Butch Patrick, otherwise known as Eddie Munster of the Munsters, here to reminisce with us about that classic show and talk about a haunted mansion he's now looking to save. No, not his former humbly haunted abode, but another one that has been in his family for years. Butch, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.
So first, tell us about this mansion.
Well, my grandmother, actually, when I was a little boy in the 5th grade, I lived with my grandmother in a small apartment in Illinois. I went to the West Coast to do the Munsters, and when I came back, she had moved to Missouri and bought this big house for all her antiques. And basically, every 20 years or so, I would drive by the house just to visit it. And the last time I went by, I found out it was in foreclosure, and it was close to being wrecked. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working with the banks to try to save it. And lo and behold, it turns out it's haunted. My grandma knew about it, my sister knew about it, but they never shared that with me.
Okay, so you've never had a paranormal experience there, have they? How do they know it's haunted?
Well, I've had a lot of people come in. I mean, basically, my sister saw the ghost several times, and I have no reason not to believe her. And my grandmother, who's passed now, shared that with my sister as well. But I had some experts come in, and they found like 13 entities in the house, and there's been some activity there. So I'm really... See, when I was living there, I was always outside. I was a 13-year-old boy, and I was out running around, so I didn't really have a chance to really hang out in the house very often. Plus, I was coming back and forth to the West Coast. But everybody that seems to know this paranormal stuff seems to think it's haunted, so I'm looking forward to seeing something myself.
So are you into all of that? You know, ghost hunting, paranormal activity, is that something that you're interested in?
Well, I had a TV show, and we would have a ghost segment. I would go around with Bonnie Event, and we would go see the highly paranormal areas of the country, the Roosevelt Hotel, the Queen Mary, the Whaley House, et cetera, et cetera. And I have felt some interesting things going on, although I've never actually physically seen something. I've felt things pass through me before, which is really scary.
Wow. All right. Well, listen, let's throw back Thursday to the Munsters. Not totally unrelated. Grew up in a haunted house on TV. So what was it like as a kid? Was it like every day was Halloween? What was it like growing up on that show?
It was really a great show. It was very friendly. It was kid friendly because the crew had been together for 7 years with Leave It to Beaver, and the Universal lot was my own personal exploring ground, if so be it, when I wasn't working. So I always had a great time going to work, and the cast was wonderful, and it was a very pleasant experience in Hollywood for me. And
then, what was actual Halloween like? Did you ever go as Eddie Munster?
No, I was lucky. Mike Westmore, who was my makeup man, he would always give me these really incredible masks to use. So since I was Eddie Munster, almost every day for 2 years, the last thing I wanted to be was Eddie Munster when I went home, and he would give me masks from the Creature and the Mummy and the Wolfman and all this great stuff. So I was well connected for Halloween for sure.
Yeah, very well connected. Did you keep anything from the set? Any mementos?
I did, and over the years I just gave stuff away. I didn't really understand the value and the personal the touch to it. So I was really good at giving stuff away, and then I wound up with literally hardly anything. And then recently I did purchase a Woof Woof back, and I had the Stingray bicycle that George Barris built. So I'm reacquiring my childhood piece by piece.
And then do you have a favorite story from on the set, whether it was the first day or the last day or even a spooky occurrence maybe? Anything that happened while you were there?
Well, one of the things, I came to the set one day and I found out the day before the Beatles were there, and I was very depressed because, I didn't get a chance to meet the Beatles, although, I don't really blame anybody, but that was one of the neat things. But my favorite thing to do was always going to George Barris's shop because he built a Munster coach, and I loved cars, and I loved riding around in the Munster coach because, we were like the first hot rod on TV. So those were my best days whenever we were outside in the car.
It must have been so much fun. And then I know this is a big milestone year coming up, so tell me about the anniversary of this show and then what you're doing to mark that anniversary, the book that you are working on.
Yeah, over the years I've done a lot of personal appearances, and I always get these great stories about how much the Munsters meant to the fans. And I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to let the fans speak? And I've just been compiling stories from the fans of what the Munsters meant to them. I'm going to call it Munster Memories. It's going to be a coffin table book. It's shaped like a coffin, not a coffee table book. And it's really writing itself with these fabulous stories over the years. I mean, people just, for a 2-year show, it had such a footprint in American, culture and pop culture that it still lives on today, and it's really amazing that such a short-run show would have such, lasting ability.
Absolutely. And then where can people go for more information on that, and also the mansion, the sale, all of your projects?
Yeah, that's good. I'm really excited about it. It's been a very good run, and the next couple of years for the 50th anniversary, I'm really having a good time with it, and it seems to be working well.
Great. All right, so here we go. You can go online for more information on all of the above. And Butch, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching Throwback Thursday on FoxNews.com. I'm Ashley Dvorkin.